In our first 3 seasons with Wolfsburg, we have successfully managed to navigate the Bundesliga 2, winning it in Season 1 as champions. Then in Season 2, somehow qualifying for the Champions League by finishing 5th, thanks to coefficient rules, meant that we actually got uplifted from the Europa League into the Champions League, and then in Season 3, we actually qualified for the Champions League properly by finishing 3rd place in the table. 61 points on the board, but still a very long way away from Bayern Munich. Not too far away from Borussia Dortmund. In this video, 3 more seasons with Wolfsburg. It's seasons 4, 5 and 6. And we are looking to try and close that gap, and hopefully close that gap so much that we become champions of Germany. It's possible, it could happen. So obviously this is the start of Season 4. If you missed the first 3 seasons, go back, check that video out, because it's kind of going to give you a lot of context about exactly what is going on. And what is going on in Season 4 is we've already done some transfer business on the 2nd of July. And we have spent nearly £100 million over the summer already. The transfer window has literally just opened. We are going big in order to try and close that gap between Dortmund and Bayern Munich, because basically we want to try and win the Bundesliga. It is possible. First up, Sergio Caballero has joined from Manchester United on a free transfer. He's good. He's really good. But Man United just never played him. They spent £10.5 million on him, never played him. We brought him in on a free. We'll probably never play him either. Going up in value to £3.5 million, we have signed Valentin Gabriel Lolescu, who is a Romanian striker who looks ridiculous. He is a Wonderkid, come up from FCSB, played 48 league games, scoring 18 goals there, 17 finishing. Physically, he's really fast. 16 acceleration and pace, 17 agility as well. We've got ourselves a very good striker who's probably going to be our number 1 striker for the season, but he is our technically cheapest player that we've signed. For £6.5 million, we have signed Ismaila Konate from Augsburg, who is a German, and I'm going to guess, I have no idea, Senegalese. Is he Senegalese? He's Malian. He's from Mali. That would make sense. His surname's Konate. Konate, that's how it's said. He's come in for £6.5 million. He's not going to be a first-team player, but he's come in for squad depth. Now, we've almost certainly overpaid for Max Finkgraf, but he has come in to be our number 1 left back. We've basically decided that our left back from the last couple of seasons, the Italian guy who we signed for too much money, isn't good enough. So Finkgraf, it's probably not how it's pronounced at all, has joined the club for potentially £37 million. And you probably realise he's not even the most expensive player. One thing I did notice over the summer is we didn't have a huge amount of German footballers, so we've kind of gone back to sign some German players. And Finkgraf is one of those German players we've signed. The other one is Tom Bischoff. He is going to be one of our best players in defence midfield. In fact, I think we're going to force play him because I don't think he's technically good enough to be a first-team starter, but we have spent £50 million on him. It's an awful lot of money. £50 million is an awful lot of money, but he's only 26. He's still got plenty of time to play. £50 million, if we can get 5 seasons out of him playing him in that defensive midfield role, that's some good money, and maybe in 5 years' time as well, he'll only be 31. We can possibly sell him for 30 to 40 million. So, in all, it's a win-win situation. But that is all of the transfer business we have done so far. That's right, so far. £93 million spent. If we take a look at our finances, we've still got £21 million to spend if we really want to do that as well. I'm not convinced we're going to, but I'm not saying we're not going to. Obviously, this season as well, 3 competitions, Bundesliga, Champions League, and DFB Pokal. I'd like to win the DFB Pokal. I'd like to win the Bundesliga. I don't think it's going to happen. If we can finish top 4 once again, that would be perfect. And Champions League, right now, I think it's a little bit too early for us to really care about that. Maybe season 7, 8, 9, 10 are the ones that we're going to really focus on the Champions League. Let's jump forward to the end of the summer transfer window. Let's see whether we spent any more of this £20 million that we've got burning a hole in our back pocket. Chances are we have, and we've probably sold some people as well. We've now spent £144 million. 3 more players have joined the club. Moussa Bamba, first of all, 18 years of age at Malian goalkeeper, signed from Academy JMG Mali. It's not cost a lot. We've spent about £50 million on 2 players. Bamba has cost £21,000. For £2.5 million, we have signed Requiem Raquelme, maybe Felipe, who is a 24-year-old Brazilian left winger from Palmeiras. I want to say SEP is Palmeiras in Brazil. And yeah, the clever ones of you have worked out. We've basically spent £50 million on 1 player again. And that is Mikey Moore from Tottenham. 24 years of age. He's cost £49 million. He has, and it's quite common knowledge, in the database, he has a ridiculously high percentage potential, and it is kind of fixed as well. So we've taken the risk. We've brought Mikey Moore in. He's good enough to play for us now. He's getting paid too much money, but he is going to be playing first team football for us all season long. I'm going to probably lock him into that left wing position because that's where I want him to be playing. That's where we needed to strengthen. And I say strengthen because we've sold Jakub Kaminski to Al Ali for about £18 million. It's not as much money as we wanted to get for him, but I've kind of decided he's not going to play anymore for us. We can do better, and we have done better, and £18 million isn't bad. We have also sold Mandela Keita. He has gone over to Everton over in the Premier League. He's gone for £10.75 million. He was not going to be playing this season. Once we signed Bischoff, basically Keita kind of dropped down the pecking order, and whilst he's still under the age of 30, let's try and cash in on him, get a bit more money back. And the big one is Datro Fofana has left the club. £30.5 million he's moved over to Al Ali as well. That was his minimum fee release clause, so that has been triggered. He's moved on, and I'm perfectly okay with this. Most of the time when somebody's minimum fee release clause gets triggered, you're annoyed because basically you did not want to lose that player. I'm actually okay with Fofana moving on. We've also got some other transfers that have taken place. Alex Murphy has left. He's gone over to China for £5.25 million. Querfeld has also gone to the same club in China for £2.1 million. A couple of loan deals. Hoskins to HSV. Benavides has gone out on loan to Hertha for £2.8 million, which is madness. And also Kuol has gone on loan to Eintracht Frankfurt for £200,000 on loan. It's been a busy summer in the Wolfsburg squad. So from a formation perspective, we are once again sticking with the 4-2-3-1 Black Panther. We are going to be playing this formation until the end of this 10-season save with Wolfsburg. And we're locking in just 3 players. We've got Bischoff, who will be locked in as that defensive midfielder. And partially the reason why we lock him in is if we take a look, we've got Garcia, Montero and Samu, who are all ahead of him in terms of rollability. But I want to make sure Bischoff actually gets some game time, so he is being locked in. Dindane is going to be playing as the attacking midfielder once he returns from his broken leg. Yeah, he's broken his leg in literally the first game of the season. He broke his leg. He's out for 4 to 6 months, but he is going to be locked in once he returns. I did that because basically Reina, despite the fact that he's very good, he's wanted and he's getting on a bit. Yes, he's 28. He's getting on a bit, okay? And I'm thinking if we can get £50 million for Reina, we've got our replacement already in the shape of Dindane. Up front is going to be Lelescu because he's ridiculously good. He's only twisted his ankle, so he's not out for too much more than maybe 3 weeks maximum. And so far, the season has kicked off reasonably well. 3 games in, we've gone 2 wins, 1 defeat. Against Bayern, we lose, but we do beat Bochum and Union Berlin with a total of 9 goals scored and 0 conceded in those ones. So we're doing quite well. So let's jump forward to the end of the season and see how well we have managed to finish off this season with Wolfsburg. Are we Bundesliga champions? We're not. We're not going to be Bundesliga champions, but we might win the DFB Pokal, and I just want to get out of the Champions League group stages. Right then, in no particular order, we have been knocked out of the DFB Pokal by Bayern Munich in the 3rd round. Not ideal, but it is Bayern Munich. We did put up a fight, 3-2 defeat, but unfortunately, we didn't do very well in that. We did all right in the Champions League. We did get through the group stages, but we did get knocked out in the playoff round against Barcelona. But we did beat them. We beat them 2-1 at home. So there is kind of a silver lining, sort of. The fact that we can beat Barcelona. But once again, not the best performance in the Champions League. But it's still only 4 seasons in. 3 years ago, we were a Division 2 side. We were a Bundesliga 2 side. The fact that we're even in the Champions League is good. And finally, from a Bundesliga perspective, we have finished 5th. Yeah, we've also not managed to qualify for the Champions League next season. We're in the Europa League, which I'm kind of okay with. I feel like we can do better in the Europa League than we do in the Champions League, so it's actually not terrible at all. One thing you might have spotted on this, the highest average rating for the entire season is Max Finkgraf with 14 assists and a 7.29 average rating. I think he was a very good signing. He is the only player in our entire squad to get double figures for assists, 14 of them in total, actually 17 in total if you include the 3 in the Champions League. He's done actually very well, hasn't he? He's wanted. Somebody wants him already. Saudi Arabia can go away. We're not selling Finkgraf just yet, okay? Give him a few years, maybe we will. He doesn't even look that good. Is that just me thinking he doesn't look that good, but we just needed a decent enough left back? And he's done very well for £37 million. Gio Reyna only manages to pick up 6 goals and 8 assists this season, but that is basically because he was our backup attacking midfielder. He played a lot at the start of the season and nothing at the end of the season. He might have even got a big injury, actually. If we have a look, reports, medical reports, he also broke his leg. Both of our attacking midfielders broke their leg. Really? Speaking of players with broken legs, Dindane obviously did have a broken leg at the start of the season, did return, didn't do amazingly well, 6 goals and 4 assists in all competitions, which is not amazing, but he's still only young. He's actually very good, isn't he? He's actually very good. I think he's currently away with the Ivory Coast. He's got 6 goals and 10 caps for the Ivory Coast. Fair play. The £50 million Tom Bischoff has done actually ridiculously good for a defence midfielder. 14 goals and 5 assists in all competitions. Ignore the fact that 6 of his goals were penalties, and he did miss 2. Tom Bischoff, for £50 million, I think he's actually kind of earned his money back, okay? He's kind of justified spending that money on him. Similarly, with Mikey Moore, 32 starts in all competitions, 15 goals, 9 assists, so just under the cusp of that double figures. 24 years of age, £50 million. I think he's good. Surprised he's not in the England squad. I'm surprised he's not in the England squad at all. That's just weird. No caps. No caps at all. Another player who doesn't have any caps is Joaquin Obispo, the 23-year-old Argentine right winger, left winger striker. We're probably playing him predominantly as a right winger. Has scored 13 goals in the league, 18 in all competitions. He was not locked in, by the way. So he's now getting in there on merit, and he's good. I'm starting to like the look of Obispo. He is wanted. It's going to be Saudi Arabia, isn't it? It is, of course, Saudi Arabia. He's not going anywhere. But the top goal scorer is Valentin Gabrielescu, the Romanian international with 13 caps and 2 goals to his name, signed in the summer, obviously. Has managed to pick up 23 goals in all competitions, 2 assists. Our strikers don't bother with assisting people, do they? They could not be bothered. If they can't score, nobody's going to score. His value's gone from like £3 million when we signed him to £75 million. We've got a superstar here, which means he's probably going to leave. Has he got a minimum fee release? He does. 92 million. Let's face it, if somebody pays £92 million for him, we're probably going to accept that. I mean, we have to accept it. That's how contracts work. But still, that's not terrible. £92 million is a lot of money. We can definitely reinvest that. So from a Season 2 perspective, it's not all doom and gloom. It's not great. Let's be honest, it's certainly not great, but it's okay. We have qualified for the Europa League, and who knows, we might even qualify for the Champions League if the whole coefficient thing does its stuff again like it did the other season. But yeah, 5th place, I'm okay with that. We're making ground. We're moving upwards. As we kick off Season 5, one thing that I have noticed with this Wolfsburg side, we are scoring goals for fun. Last season, we were the top goal-scoring side by a whopping 16 goals ahead of champions Bayern Munich. The season before, I don't know whether we were much better. I'm 76. Bayern Munich did score a lot of goals, so we are scoring goals for fun. The problem is, we are conceding goals. We're not massively bad. This is actually, we are the 5th best team for conceding goals, but if we are going to win the league, which is ultimately the goal, that's what we need to do, which, because of that, means that we've already spent a bit of money at the start of Season 5 before the window's really opened. It has opened, obviously. We've brought in 2 brand new defenders. For £7.5 million, we have gone to Cologne in Argentina and signed Adrian Bassioli. 8 caps to his name, a wonder kid. He's ridiculous. How has nobody else picked him up? There were a couple of teams sniffing about, and we basically managed to get him, I think, because I kind of threw a bit more money at him than some of the other sides. He's on nearly 50 grand a week, but a player of that quality at just 20 for £7.5 million, which I think was his minimum fee release as well, we've got ourselves a very good right back now. And for £17.5 million, we have gone over to Atletico Madrid to sign Eder Bello, a 24-year-old Spanish centre-back, maybe a defensive midfielder as well, which is obviously a position that we do play. We are hopefully going to have ourselves a much stronger defence with Bello and Bassioli joining the club. Obviously, transfer window is still wide open. If we take a look at the finances, we've got £35 million to spend. I am going to look to sell on some players as well. Obviously, we're going to be bringing in some new players, some youth players, because I always bring in youth players when I play Football Manager. Or even in Season 10, I guarantee you I will sign an 18-year-old from somewhere in Africa. I'll always do it. So as we jump forward then to the start of September, the transfer window has now closed, and we've done a bit more business, obviously. Martinovic is the first one, a 23-year-old Croatian left winger, formerly of Leipzig. We brought him in on a free transfer. His contract expired. He's not going to be getting a lot of game time. Mikey Moore's our number 1 left winger. Martinovic, he's number 2, I guess. We've also spent £1.6 million on Ralf Gartner, a 24-year-old German right winger and striker. Those are the kind of predominant positions we're going to be playing him in. He has come in from Bayern Munich. We brought him in because he's German, okay? That's really all we've done. I just wanted some more German players, so Gartner came in fairly cheap. Another player who's come in for probably a bit too much money, is Stefan Föhling, a 19-year-old German left-back or centre-back signed from Bayern. I'm probably going to make him a centre-back, although his aerial ability is not very good, so maybe he's going to be a left-back. He has come in for £7.5 million, which is a lot of money, but I'm kind of trying to build German players, and decent young German players don't come cheap anymore. For £8.5 million, we have signed Julian Duranville, which I still don't know if that's how his name is said, signed from Borussia Dortmund. I'm not really sure why I've done this. For some reason, I saw his name, went, he's really good, isn't he? And just kind of bought him. I don't think we need him. I genuinely don't think we need him. I feel like we might try and loan him out if we can. And for £8.5 million, we have signed Mexican striker Eric De La Torre. And once again, we brought in another Wonderkid, once again from over in America, this time Central America, obviously over in Mexico, playing for Cruz Azul. He's very good. And we've loaned him back to Cruz Azul because he's not going to get in the first team because Lelescu's still here and he's also very good as well. Some players leaving the club then. Jean-Baptiste Gorby has moved over to Al-Shabaab for about £3.5 million. Wasn't getting much game time anymore. Garan Kual has also left, signing for Al-Ettifaq for just under £5 million. For potentially rising to £9 million, Neil Hoskins has moved over to Brighton on a permanent deal. For £13.75 million, Serginho Dest has left the club, moving over to Sporting. Bassioli has basically made me sell this man. Also, he is over 30, so you know, you've got to get rid of him. And for £27.5 million, Maxence Lacroix has left, moving over to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. He's 32, guys. It was always going to happen. The moment he turned over 30, he was at risk of getting sold. And we sold him for decent money. For that amount of money, £27.5 million as a potential. I'm very happy with that business. But that is basically the transfer business for the season. We have also done some loan deals. So Leguizamon's gone out on loan to Libertad, Felipe to Bochum, Konate to Nuremberg, Mabenza's gone out on loan to Vita Club, and Eric De La Torre, we know, Quinzinho to Nuremberg. This could be vital for Quinzinho. He's very good. I say very good. He's good. He's 20. He's got a lot of potential. He's worth a lot of money. So the game thinks he's good. Or the game is kind of trying to hint that he's going to be good. Don't sell him. He needs game time. He's dropped down a division to Bundesliga 2 to play for Nuremberg. I want to see him come back as a well-rounded player. And then we're going to have 3 world-class strikers on our books, which could be a problem. So far, the season has actually kicked off quite well. We are top of the table after 3 matches. 3 wins, obviously. Eintracht Frankfurt, Freiburg and Bochum. We've won all of them, but we've scored a lot of goals. But frustratingly, we have also conceded 6 in 3, which is not very good. We have scored 12, though, in those 3 games as well. My attempts to fix the defence kind of gone out the window. Players that we're locking in then, it is just going to be 3 players. Bassioli is going to get locked in as that right back, although I don't think we need to do it. Garcia is the only other player that can kind of play there. Bischoff we are keeping locked in as that defence midfielder because once again, he's not technically the best. In fact, he's dropped down now to 5th place when it comes to our defence midfielders because Edabello is also a very good DM. And Dindane we are keeping as that attacking midfielder. I want to see a good season from Dindane. Really want to see a good season from you. Let's jump forward then to the end of the season, where could we be champions? It's too early to tell. Europa League, I will be happy if we can get towards the final. Will be amazing. And DFB Pokal, for some reason, I really want to win this more than actually winning the league right now. I want to win the DFB Pokal because I feel like it's more likely going to happen. So let's jump forward to the end of the season. I mean, we're technically not quite at the end of the season because the DFB Pokal final hasn't been played. But yeah, we didn't win it. Obviously, we didn't win it. We're not in the final. If we go back, we got knocked out in the second round this time against Dusseldorf, who I believe are in the 2nd division. I mean, it's not been a good season for the DFB Pokal. Obviously, we did win it once so far in this save. I just want to win it again, okay? I just want to win it again. Europa League, we didn't win that. Spurs win this one. I mean, Nottingham Forest won it in 2031-32. Fair play to Forest. If we go back, we get knocked out in the quarterfinal against Man United, actually just conceding 4 goals and not scoring, which isn't good. And in the Bundesliga, we finish 4th place, almost 2nd place, just 3 points behind Bayern, who finished obviously 2nd. Bayern Munich run away with it, just miles ahead of everybody by 12 points ahead of 2nd place. 12 points ahead of 2nd place is just ridiculous. How are we going to close that gap? So, looking at some players then, Joaquin Obispo, who has done very well this season, double figures for goals and assists, 11 assists, 19 goals in all competitions, 6 of them coming in the Europa League as well. He's had a good year. He's turning into a very good player, which is, I like to see it. Tom Bischoff as well has had a double figure season, 15 assists, 12 goals this time around. A lot of penalties, okay? He scored 7 penalties out of 9, but still, getting the goals. That £50 million is starting to feel a bit more justified. But the best player when it comes to assists is Max Finkgraf with 15 assists in all competitions. Not a single goal to his name, but 15 assists is actually really, really good. He is 29 though. He's getting on. He's getting close to being sold, isn't he? By the end of this episode, we might have seen the end of Max Finkgraf. So, from a goals perspective, we have 5 players who've scored double figures. Tom Bischoff, obviously, we've already seen with 12. Ayad Dindane managed to get 16 in all competitions, also 9 assists as well, playing as that attacking midfielder. He's good. He's very, very good now. The fact that we force played him, he's played 130 times, I feel like Dindane is better than Reina. In fact, we can compare them, and it's pretty much guaranteed, isn't it, that he's better? So Reina is better technically. Technically, Reina is a better footballer, but it's in weird things like free kicks. He's got 13 free kicks. I don't need Dindane to take free kicks, so drop that down. That's irrelevant. And all of a sudden, Dindane's probably a better player. Mentally, he's a better player. Physically, he's definitely a better player as well. Dindane has usurped Reina from that attacking midfield spot. He's still played a lot of football. He's got 12 goals, or 17 goals, in fact, in all competitions. Where has he been playing then? On the wing? He's been playing on the left-hand side and getting subbed off pretty much every game. Fair enough, but he's done very well. I'm surprised they played him on the left and not Mikey Moore. Obispo, we've already seen with his 19 goals, as our second top scorer of the season, and that means Lelescu will be number 1, with 22 in all competitions and 7 assists. Hold on, buddy, you've started passing to other people. 7 assists, fair enough, 22 goals, 21 years of age. I'm definitely trying to give him a new contract to try and get that minimum fee release gone, because starting, I think, £92 million might be a little bit low for his potential ability. Just taking a look, Mikey Moore didn't play much football at all for some reason, and I can assume injuries, right? So he had a hip injury at the start of the season and torn knee ligament, so he's missed 4 months of football, which it would explain a lot, wouldn't it? It would certainly explain a lot, and I guess he's just been injured, hasn't he? Just been injured a lot. Fair enough. When he wasn't injured, he was our left winger. So technically we're at the halfway point of this save, and I've just sorted my squad by transfer value. So the most valuable players that we have in our team, Bassioli, 78 to 88 million pounds. Obviously, he's only been here for a season. He's very good at football. We've seen Nalescu, we've seen Dindane, we've seen Bischoff, we've seen Obispo. Musa Bamba, 52 to 61 million. I bought him for £21,000. I mean, is he good? I mean, he looks like he could be good, but he doesn't look like he's £50 million worth of Malian goalkeeper. But there we are. We've got a ridiculously expensive goalkeeper. Mikey Moore, we've seen. Michael Montero's up there as well. He doesn't look like he's improving or changing at all, but he's still worth a lot. Maximiliano Garcia, our number 1 goalkeeper. He's good, isn't he? He's a good goalkeeper. Mexican international. We've just got some really high-value players and then some really low-value players as well, which, when you think who the really low-value players are, a lot of them are German. Kind of says something, really, doesn't it, about this save? And German footballers aren't particularly expensive, apart from Bischoff and Finkgraf, because they're the ones actually playing, getting assists and scoring goals. So Season 5 then finishes with us finishing 4th place in the table. Season 6, which will be the last season in this video, will mean we're in the Champions League once again, and it's probably going to be another big summer, probably another expensive one as well. So it's the 4th of July, Season 6, with Wolfsburg, and once again Champions League football. As we all know, already the transfer window is open. We've done a small amount of business, and that is the fact that we sold Riquelme Felipe to Bochum for £1.3 million. He was there on loan last season. They had an option to buy him, which they took up. Fair play. He went there. He's done very well. I think he might actually be their captain now as well for some reason. Other than that, that is all the transfer business so far. The window's only been open for 4 days anyway. We've got £40.5 million to spend. It is going to be a big summer, I think. I think we're going to have to spend a bit more money. We need to shore up that defence. I still think our defence is our potential issues. Maybe defensive midfielders, we need to look there. Right, we've moved forward to the end of the transfer window, the 2nd of September, and we've decided, I say we as if like any of you had some form of input to this, I've decided we're not really doing a lot of strengthening, but also we're not doing any selling either, which is a key part here. We have brought in Martin Bernentin, Bernatin might be his name, from FC Bayern Munich. He's obviously come in on a free transfer. I say obviously. He's come in on a free transfer. Just a bit more depth, and also he's German. For £1.1 million, we have signed Montenegrin centre-back, right-back, defence midfielder, Vuskovic Milanovic. He's come in from Zrinski, which might not be how that's said at all. Cheap player, bit of backup, basically, bit of rotation ability. I'm probably going to retrain him. I say retrain him. Specifically make him a right-back, because we don't have any backup right-backs. We did do one big piece of business, though, and that is Fabinho, the 24-year-old Brazilian central defender signed from Atletico Mineiro in Brazil, has cost £12.5 million, but I think he is going to be a big improvement on the players that we did currently have in the squad. So we brought ourselves a nice, decent centre-back. It's probably going to be Fabiano, and I think it's Bello might be our two centre-backs for the season. And speaking of for the season, we're not locking anybody in. I've decided to let whoever my assistant manager is do what he wants to do. I imagine, let's just do pick without restrictions, best 11. This is probably going to be our formation, our starting 11 for most matches. I'm tempted to lock Bischoff back in because he's good. I know Bischoff's good, but we've got Montero, we've got Samu, we've got Bischoff as our defence midfielders. We've got, I think it's a decent squad. Like I said, the assistant manager can basically do what he wants with this squad, and I'm perfectly okay with it. We did have some other loan business going on as well, which might be of interest. So Benavides going on loan, Kinzinho going on loan to Werder. Last season scored 11 goals in 32 appearances for Nuremberg, so he's gone for another season this time at Werder Bremen, which is hopefully going to do him a world of good. We've loaned out Ducour. He's not very good. He needs game time. He's 25 now. Foling has also gone out on loan. We spent a lot of money on him. He's not very good. He needs game time, so he's going to get some game time at Osnabrück. Phillips 4, by the way, I think came for a youth intake. He's got loads of potential, apparently, so I'm just keeping him about, getting him some game time. We've also got rid of Caballero to Aston Villa. We've got rid of Duranville to Celtic. Why did I do this? Why did I sign him for £7.5 million as well? From a competition perspective, obviously 3 competitions that we are in. Currently, we are sat top of the Bundesliga, beating Bayern, beating Freiburg, beating Bochum, which is all good. Once again, we've scored a lot of goals. Once again, we've conceded a lot of goals as well. 9 goals scored, 3 goals conceded. I want to stop conceding goals. Is it possible to do? So, Bundesliga, targets, realistically, top 4 once again. We're kind of still at that stage where I don't think we're good enough to challenge Bayern, but we are good enough to be in that kind of conversation. If Bayern have a bad year, maybe we can sneak in and nick a title, but I don't think it's going to happen. Champions League, I want to just get out of the group stage and not just embarrass ourselves in the first knockout round. And then in the cup, I want to win it. Every year I want to win the cup, and we've done it once. Okay, we'll find out in a second whether we've done it again. No, we haven't. We've lost to Leipzig 4-1 in the quarter-final, which is not ideal. However, something that is ideal is we've flipping won the league. We've somehow won the league. I said if Bayern slip up, then there's a chance. Bayern have slipped up. They've lost 6 matches. They lost to Magdeburg. Where are Magdeburg? Down in 14th place. They've not had a very good year at all. If we take a look, so we finished on 72 points. That would have been good enough. I mean, we could have won it in season, whatever that one was, season 4. 72 points would have been good enough. But 72 points is not a good amount of points to win the league on. But we've done it. We've actually won the league. 22 wins. Some big ones as well. 6-1, 5-0 as well. We're champions of Germany. I mean, it's weirdly kind of not that exciting because Bayern just ballsed it up. I imagine next season we're going to be like 3rd or 4th again. But we are champions. For the first time ever. I did not know that. I thought Wolfsburg have won the Bundesliga, but apparently not. They have. They won it in 2009. Okay, for the second time ever, we are champions of the Bundesliga. How have we done this? Okay, I know how we've done this. We've scored a buttload of goals. Dindane, 10 assists, 12 goals in this season. He is our 4th best assister for the year. Bassioli comes in with 10 assists and 6 goals from right back. Obispo with 14 and 14. 14 goals, 14 assists playing on that right wing, getting his first Argentina cap as well. That is nearly 30 goal contributions. And in the league, that is 23 goal contributions in 33 matches. But at the top 4 assists is Max Finkgraf. £37 million well spent. Honestly, best £37 million I've spent in this save. 15 assists, 3 goals in all competitions, 12 assists in the league. He's done the job that we needed him to do. We are still conceding a lot of goals, but it doesn't matter because we've won the bloody league. And we are scoring a lot of goals as well. Mikey Moore does get into double figures, 11 goals, 8 assists, but he has once again injured himself. I feel like he might be injury prone, but he's done well enough. He's played 45 times all season, so he must have just done this towards the end of the season as well. Dindane, we know he gets 12 goals, 10 assists in all competitions. Surprisingly, Eric de la Tour, who only started 11 games, 16 off the bench, gets 13 goals, 3 assists in all competitions. He's obviously our number 2 striker behind Lelescu, but the fact that he's managed to get 11 goals in the league, that's very good. I'm happy with that. Obispo, we know, 14 and 14, but at the top of the pile, by some distance, is Valentin Lelescu with 27 goals in all competitions. 26 goals in the league, 26 in 27 appearances in the league. The worry is this. He's wanted by Arsenal, Man United, Dortmund, AC Milan and Napoli. And obviously we know he has that minimum fee release and he doesn't want to sign a new contract. I feel like Lelescu might be going in the summer, but you're going to have to wait until next episode to find out whether that actually takes place or not. Something else that is going to be taking place in the next episode, and in fact in the next season, is we are moving to a brand new stadium at the Kevin De Bruyne Park. Or Kevin De Bruyne Park, not the Kevin De Bruyne Park. In 2035, at the start of next season, so season 8, we should be moving into Kevin De Bruyne Park, actually. It's a 40,000 capacity stadium, which to me is too small. I feel like we need something bigger, but there we are. We are moving stadium. We're moving away from the Volkswagen Arena, which was built in 2002. So it's not massively old. 32 years old, 34 by the time we kind of move into our new stadium. As you might have assumed, I have been kind of working away in the background to get the training facilities and everything increased. We've got great youth facilities now, which is fine if we get the players through, which we're not really getting any good players through. But, you know, we've got the ability to get some good people in. Speaking of getting good people in, I might have hired James Ward-Prowse as our assistant manager a couple of years ago, never told you. He's not very good, okay? I just wanted to get James Ward-Prowse in. He became a coach, and I went, you know what, let's bring him in. And I'd like to point out 6 set-piece coaching. I'm sorry, if you ever paid attention to James Ward-Prowse at all, you'd realise he's probably going to be quite good at training people for set pieces. Anyway, that is going to do it then for this episode. One more episode to go in this Wolfsburg relegation rebuild, where we will do the final 4 seasons, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And I guess, next episode, we want to try and win the Champions League. I don't think it's going to happen, but if we can win the Bundesliga maybe 2 more times in the final 4 seasons, I'm going to take that as a very good result. Thank you very much for watching this episode. If you did enjoy, like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and please give me some comments down below of what other kind of rebuild saves like this you would like me to do, and I'll take a look and see whether I can actually do them. I've already lined up the next relegation rebuild, and we're heading to England, but I'm not going to tell you who just yet.